There is, of course, only one place to start this morning, and that is with Gareth Bale. It is a story we brought to you first here on Sky Sports News, and it looks like a return to Tottenham could very well happen. His representatives are talking to the club about a potential loan move from Real Madrid. So let's go live to the club's training ground for more on this massive story. Paul, this is huge. Just update us on the details. Where do we stand at the moment?
Emma, it is huge, and this is the transfer window that keeps on giving, really, because there have been no shortage of drama, of course. We think Messi, now Bale into the equation. Where we stand on it, it's as you say, Tottenham and Real Madrid very much in talks over a move for Gareth Bale and this return to Tottenham after 7 years away. We know, listening and reading the comments of Bale's agent Jonathan Barnett, he says Gareth loves Spurs. He told BBC Sport Wales, and he went on to say it is where he wants to be. And the talks centre around a loan move at the moment, although I must stress at this point we don't know the specifics. So whether that will be a loan move for the last remaining 2 years of Gareth Bale's contract, and then obviously he can join on a free transfer. But the key part in all of this, and I've had this at every window, it feels like, for the last 2 or 3 years with Tottenham, and I guarantee you that this Gareth Bale to Tottenham story comes up at least once a window, and every time those at the club and those in different parts of the football industry, they say, well, look, this just isn't going to happen. And the problem has always been around being able to afford Gareth Bale and these reported £600,000 per week wages. Well, finally, the breakthrough, and the key breakthrough, is that it may be that Real Madrid are willing to subsidise this. So there is a way that Tottenham believe that they can afford this deal. The feeling from some people close to the deal that I'm talking to, or that we're talking to, suggests that this is, as things stand, more likely to happen than not. There is a growing confidence that Gareth Bale could be a Tottenham player. Of course, in a transfer, everything can change at the drop of a hat, so we're waiting to see what developments come in the coming days or so. But certainly the two clubs are talking, and there is a quiet confidence that they can get this deal over the line.
Paul, we've seen newspaper reports as well suggesting Dele Alli could be part of this deal. Is there any truth in those reports?
It's something we've been looking into this morning. This was the Telegraph report yesterday that Dele Alli could possibly be a Real Madrid player. One source we've spoken to this morning says that will not be the case. Dele Alli will not be joining Real Madrid, but again, no real context to that yet. So we are trying to find out a little bit more on that situation. It's a strange one, really, because we think back to what Jose Mourinho told Daniel Levy about Dele Alli. One piece of advice from Sir Alex Ferguson was that he should go out and buy Dele Alli. Well, he's now managing Dele Alli, but of course he did get withdrawn at half-time in that Everton game at the weekend, and so yeah, all sorts of talk around Dele Alli, and clearly Jose Mourinho has made his feelings clear. He mentioned that he felt he's lazy in training, something that Jose Mourinho does when he really rates a player. He wants to try and get the maximum from these players. Somebody like Dele Alli with so much potential and such, a possibility to become a real, one of the best players in the Premier League if he wants to, and that's something that Jose Mourinho wants to get out of him. But yeah, as of this morning, we're being told that certainly Dele Alli won't be a Real Madrid player. But again, we'll bring you more on that as we get it.
Paul, Tottenham is a club you cover regularly. What has been the reaction from Tottenham supporters? That they must be super excited about this news.
Yeah, that may be an understatement. Tottenham fans have, as you would imagine, pounced on this because Gareth Bale, for them, gave them some special memories. You think back to that Inter Milan performance 7 years or 8 years ago. It was quite incredible. Obviously things have changed in that time. 7 years on, Bale's now 31. He's had a few injury worries, but think of what he's achieved at Real Madrid despite all the problems, despite certainly things intensifying in the Zidane years and the negativity that's come, really, and the fallout between player and manager. Gareth Bale scored over 100 goals for Real Madrid. He scored important goals as well in Champions League finals. The overhead kick against Liverpool comes to mind. Copa del Rey final against against Barcelona, that sensational goal where he ran half the pitch to score as well. He scored in Club World Cup finals. This is a guy who is clearly capable of making an impact on the biggest stage. He'll be thinking perhaps about Wales and the European Championships next summer as well, trying to get some match fitness and being as sharp as he possibly can for Wales as well. So he did say, of course, in an interview a couple of weeks ago on Sky Sports News that he would be keen to return to the Premier League, and it appears, despite Manchester United interest and Manchester United keeping tabs on this deal, that Gareth Bale has very much set his heart on a return here to Tottenham. Can it happen as quickly as this weekend? Well, who knows? Again, that's just something we don't know at the moment. Things are moving all the time with transfers. We'll try and keep you up to date with those latest developments. It would be something special, though. Tottenham due to play Southampton in the Premier League this weekend, another of Gareth Bale's former clubs. But really, real excitement around the Tottenham fan base about this one. But yeah, what is clear, Tottenham and Real Madrid in talks to bring Gareth Bale back to North London.
Great stuff, Paul. Thanks very much for now. And just a quick bit of breaking news to bring you. Whilst Paul was talking, Aston Villa have signed the Arsenal goalkeeper Emi Martinez. We will chat in more detail about that a little bit later on. But back to Gareth Bale, the massive line out of that, guys. Paul said it is more likely to happen than not. Wow. We talk about Gareth Bale a lot on this show across various different windows, but it really feels different this time. This is sensational, isn't it? Gareth Bale returning to the Premier League.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And like Paul said there, and I'm guessing Tottenham fans all over the country are going to be excited. Now we're talking about it being closer and possibly happening rather than not happening. Gareth Bale was a hero for Tottenham. Look, won 2 PFA Players of the Years there, won PFA Young Player of the Year as well. My main concern with this deal was wages. That was the issue going into this conversation. We know it's around 500,000 to 600,000 a week at Real Madrid. Obviously, can't happen those figures at Spurs. Now we're hearing that Real Madrid could subsidise the deal. We're hearing it still could be around 250 to 300,000. That still is a lot of money for Spurs, but it's fantastic news that Spurs seem to be getting their man. And look, Spurs need this. I speak to Spurs fans up and down the country, and right now they're fed up. They keep saying every time they seem to be close to be building a championship team, they lose their biggest stars. This is a massive coup for them. And if you're Harry Kane right now, if you're Mourinho, this is the deal you want to get across the line.
I think it's worth pointing out as well, we're talking about a loan move here for Gareth Bale, but consistently his representative has said that a loan move is completely out of the question. In January this year, Jonathan Barnett said it was ridiculous to suggest a loan offer for Gareth Bale. In June of last year, in the summer window, he said a loan move is not going to happen. His representative has consistently said that why should one of the best players in the world be moving on loan and not on a permanent deal? But I think we have to look at the history of Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. Has he just got tired of it all? He's had to fight on 3 fronts during his time at Real Madrid. Bale versus Zidane, Bale versus the fans, Bale versus the Spanish media. And maybe he's just got a little bit tired of it all and he wants to resurrect what has been a fantastic career so far, and he's been by no means a failure at Real Madrid. We've got some of the stats of how he has performed over in Spain over the last couple of years. Although you have to say that the season that's just gone was his least productive, but that is mainly down to his non-selection. Real Madrid have been saying that he's not been fit post-lockdown, but actually we're hearing that he's been training alone and he's actually fit. He's the 5th highest goal scorer for Real Madrid in the 21st century, which I think says it all really, and he's only behind some really big names there. In 2018-19, we just saw his stats there. 2017-18, 59 chances created in 39 games played, and we've talked about these honours already here on Sky Sports News. He's won it all at Real Madrid.
And Adi, I just want to pick up on what you said before about the wages, because this is obviously something a lot of people are talking about. Even if they are subsidised, can Spurs afford to pay his wages?
So it's a question for Daniel Levy. Look, it really is. It's a tough question for them. Look, he will be the highest earner at Spurs. There's no doubt about that. He does bring a feel-good factor, and they have to weigh that up. My concern, aside from the wages, Emma, is his injury record. I mean, yeah, we had the stats on there, and those stats were fantastic in terms of chances created and goals. But let's also talk about his stats in terms of how many times he's been on the pitch. Gareth Bale in 17-18, 14 games, missed through injury. 18, 19, 9 games. And last season, yes, there were questions whether it was injuries or just not being picked. 9 games. That's a lot of games through injury. We know the common issue now with Harry Kane and injuries. Do they need another player on massive wages that they can't get on the pitch? So a lot of questions. Spurs fans obviously are going to be happy, and understandably so. But I am concerned about the injuries from Gareth Bale coming back to what is a more competitive league, I think, in the Premiership.
And I think the injury record was something which irked Zinedine Zidane as well. I mean, we talk about the relationship breaking down between Gareth Bale and Zinedine Zidane, but actually, was there really ever a relationship there to start with? It was the Classico, I think, April 2016, when Gareth Bale declared himself fit to come back from injury. Probably, you would have to say in hindsight, rushed that. He was substituted off after half an hour. We've got the Champions League final where he came on and scored 2 magnificent goals against Liverpool in the Champions League final. In 2018, he directed his post-match comments directly at Zinedine Zidane, and then it was essentially going to be either Gareth Bale leaves or Zidane leaves, and as it happened, the unexpected happened and Zidane left, and then 10 months later he's come back, and really it's been a downward slope for Gareth Bale at Real Madrid, with Zidane coming back as well. He's had issues with the fans. They have whistled and booed him on numerous occasions. There was the flag Wales, Golf, Madrid in that order. He was reacting to some comments from Predrag Mijatovic, but that really riled up not only the fans but also the Spanish media as well, who've called him out for supposedly his antics off the pitch, playing too much golf, not learning Spanish. He does know Spanish, by the way. But
does he know Spanish?
He's had a difficult time of it in Spain, and I think maybe now he's decided that I've had enough of all that and I want to get back to playing.
Yeah, I think Carve put it well last night. He said that Real Madrid have pressed the delete button on Gareth Bale. Shirts removed from the club shop and no pictures of him on social media either.